Okay, so this isn't something I'm used to doing, so if this review isn't up to your standards, it's because I'm not a video game critic. I'm not used to reviewing video games like this. Not saying I don't play them, I actually play them quite a bit, but honestly, I'm the type that when I do get around to playing a game, it's usually been out for a little while. Not like a long while, but a little while. Enough to where, like, by the time I would play something, there'd be no sense in me sitting there and reviewing it because it's been out for a little while. And plus, I'm not a video game critic. So, but I do make exceptions when it comes to anything that Rockstar puts out, anything that they put out. Yeah, that company, I'm there at midnight to pick up my copy and to spend the next better part of my life playing them. Jake and I were there at midnight to get our copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 Monday night. We drove out to the West End. I didn't pre-order a copy. I didn't have one reserved or anything. Because I was kind of tired, I just wanted to play the game and I didn't want to be there all that long. So we drove out to the West End where a couple of GameStops are, there's a Walmart, there's Meijer, there's Target, there's all those places. So we pull into the shopping center and there's like 200 plus people mingling outside of the GameStop. And then meanwhile, there's the Walmart, which is completely empty looking, like barely a car in the parking lot. So Jake and I are standing there like, let's go into the emptier building. So we go in there and there's like 7 people waiting. It's me and Jake and we're still killing like 45 minutes. Like I stop and get a soda. We're just kind of wandering around. We're looking for, we went to go pick up some more Halloween cereal. And then we got in the line of 7 people. Midnight comes around. They wheel out the boxes. Boom, we get our copy. Actually, they accidentally rang me up for 2 copies. So the thing said like $120, and I'm sitting there, and I was so tired that I looked down and it said $120. Like, really, I was pretty tired. So I looked down at that, $120, and my first thought wasn't, I mean, this should have been my first thought, but I wasn't really working with a full brain at the time. Normally I'd be like, oh, they accidentally rang me up for 2 copies, but I'm sitting there and I look down, I'm like, huh, well, I guess it did just come out. So, honestly, if I had accidentally bought 2 copies, I wouldn't have held up the line. I wouldn't have been like, hey, you mind to do this, blah, blah, blah. I would have just been like, all right, here you go, Jake. Merry early Christmas. You could buy me lunch later. So, Jake and I, we get the copy, we take off, we go back to my place, we put it in, we got it for the PS3. We put it in so everything can install, and while it's installing, we drive to go get us some breakfast, because we're going to have some breakfast, play some GTA 3, it'll be a great morning. So we drive to McDonald's. They didn't really have what Jake wanted, so then we went to Steak and Shake, like, alright, we'll do Steak and Shake breakfast. So we're in the drive-thru, we look at the breakfast menu in the drive-thru, and they have a new thing there that's like a breakfast bowl. I assume it's new anyway. It wasn't there last time I was at Steak and Shake. But, new breakfast bowl, like, hey, that actually looks pretty good. So I ordered it. The lady gets and goes, oh, we're kind of short-staffed right now, so we're not serving breakfast. Like, fuck! So like, alright, sorry. So then we went to Denny's, and I got my blueberry pancake breakfast, and Jake got a Philly cheesesteak omelet. Then we go back. The game is all installed. We sit down to play it, and instantly, I love this game so much better than Grand Theft Auto 4. Grand Theft Auto 4, I was not a huge fan of. But the beauteous thing about a Grand Theft Auto game and an open world game like that is you can pay top dollar for that, you can take it home, and while you may not care much for the storyline of it, while you may not much care for story mode, you can still go around and do plenty of other shit and kind of get your money's worth. So Grand Theft Auto 4, I had a lot of problems with. One, I really didn't care about the story, to be honest. I I didn't really give a rat's ass about the guy I was playing as. I just found him kind of bland, and I just couldn't get into Nico. I really couldn't. And driving, I found insane. Like, and not in like a good way. Like, driving around in Grand Theft Auto 4, it was like I was driving around on ice with wheels made out of melted butter. Like, I'm in a clown car driving on banana peels. Like, just to make a simple right turn, I'm fucking spinning around 360-degree angles all over the place. And no, it wasn't a sensitivity issue. So that I found really hard to get used to. And the lack of a decent checkpoint system was fucking absurd in that game. Like, I honestly didn't even complete it. That's one of the few that I didn't, that I straight up just didn't complete it. And really, I found the expansions like Ballad of Gay Tony better than I like just regular Grand Theft Auto 4. Like, I mean, driving still kind of sucked in it, but I was at least a little more invested in what was going on than I was with Grand Theft Auto 4. And plus, in Ballad of Gay Tony, the checkpoint system was so much goddamn fucking better. So with 5, like, I could name any aspect of 5, and it's better than 4. To be perfectly honest, and I know I just got done playing it, which, by the way, when I say got done playing it, I got done playing story mode. There's a lot of extra stuff in there I haven't played yet, so I'm really honestly just talking about story mode here. This game, it instantly, as soon as you go into this game, it's like the makers of it knew that, okay, these people have been playing these games for a while. They pretty much got the mechanics of it down by now. So, no need to really show how to shoot or how to duck or any of that, because by this point we all know how to do that in a Rockstar game. So we put it in, I'm sitting there about to take a mouthful of pancakes. Instantly I'm thrust into the middle of a bank heist in like the fucking snowy mountains and shit. Jake looks at me and goes, hey, it looks like you're up, buddy. I'm like, what? Oh, Jesus Christ! So I'm like fucking taking hostages, stealing money, ducking away from cops, escaping out into the snow. It's intense. And then, bam, opening credit sequence. Instantly, I'm like, dear God, I love this game so much better than 4. And now, having played through the entire story mode of it, it's the best, in terms of Rockstar games, okay, in terms of Grand Theft Auto games, it's the best since Vice City. And I've just played it, so I don't want to sit here right now and be like, oh, it's even better than that. But it's at least the best one since that. Because before this, I would say the best Grand Theft Auto was Vice City. But this one, man, like, this one's intense as fucking shit. And I might even this one might even have more replayability to me than Vice City does. And god damn it, I love Vice City. In terms of Rockstar in general, like, I hold to a high fucking standard Red Dead Redemption. I think it's one of the greatest games I've ever played. I think it's one of the greatest characters in a video game ever. I think it's one of the best protagonists that I've ever seen in a game. So to compare Grand Theft Auto 5 to Red Dead Redemption, I don't know, they're very different from each other. They really are. I think that the story was at a more epic Sergio Leone Western pace in Red Dead Redemption. Like, you were playing an epic Once Upon a Time in the West style Western. Grand Theft Auto 5 feels much more like you're playing a Michael Mann film. With Red Dead Redemption, there are high moments, and then when you get towards the end, you know, there's parts where you're shooting crows away from a silo. There's parts where you're herding cattle with your son, like towards the end of the game. So it gets high, and then it gets really low like that, but that certainly adds to the epic nature of the game, of the story. In this, there's really no low moments when you get later on into the game. It's really pretty intense throughout it. Even levels that could honestly be considered throwaway levels are still fun and interesting. I don't feel like I'm wasting any time in this. And there's some weird ones. There's like a weird drug trippy one where one of your guys is abducted by aliens in this acid trip dream sequence. and it's funky, and you're floating through the sky and shit like that. Like, so there's some weird ones. There's a part where you're doing yoga, where one of the missions is to do yoga. Like, it's cool, and it's funny, and it's a lot of fun. The rest of the game takes place years after the opening heist scene, which took me a little bit to figure that, because once it got into regular gameplay after the credits, I wasn't sure right away if the scene at the beginning was years prior, or if that's after what I'm doing now and it's going to lead up to that, but you'll figure it out pretty quick. So in this one, you play as three different protagonists. You play as Franklin Clinton, who lives in the ghetto and he hasn't really been introduced to a life of crime. He's he's not innocent, but more so compared to your other characters. He's not as crime savvy as your other characters. You have Michael DeSanto, who's basically like an older, wiser Vice City Tommy. Like, if Tommy was domesticated and had been retired for a while and has a family, he might kind of be like this guy. And Michael DeSanto is cool. He's like a really stern father, you know. He's like kind of on the outs with his wife. There's a great part where you're in like a therapy session where the two are just screaming obscenities at each other. And then by the end they're like, I think we made some good progress here. So this guy is cool. He's funny. He's stuck in the 80s. He's a former bank thief, and he's in hiding he had to change his name and take on a whole new identity because of the events at the beginning of it, when Trevor, the character of Trevor, gets away from the bank heist and thinks that the other two characters who are with them are dead. One of those characters being Michael DeSanto. And Trevor is... There's not enough great things I could say about this character. This is one of the most entertaining fucking characters I've ever played in a game. I almost don't want to say any more about him. He's like... I don't know how to even... He's a cross between, like... I don't know, if you cross, like, Billy Bob Thornton and Michael Ironside, and the character's vulgar as shit and completely unpredictable, but he's not a sociopath. He's violent as fuck and makes no bones about fucking killing a motherfucker, but throughout the game he is shown to have a conscience. He is shown to feel guilty about things, and he is shown that he tries to be a good friend. Like, at one point he falls in love with a woman he's kidnapped. The both of them fall in love with each other, and then when she's let go, they're still calling each other. When he's driving her to safety, he's like crying because they have to say goodbye. I mean, he's not a complete sociopath. This is a very three-dimensional character. And the beauteous thing is that all three of the characters are like this. All three of the characters are completely likable. You are changing from character to character to character throughout it, especially when you're deep in a gun battle. You can switch up to, like, Trevor with a sniper rifle. You can switch to a dude in a car. You can switch to a dude hiding behind a car. Like, it gets pretty intense. But the great thing is all three of these characters are completely three-dimensional. They're different, and they're fun. They're funny in different ways. They're intense in different ways. Whenever you have to switch to one character, there's no point where you're like, fuck, now I gotta play as this guy. I'd rather be playing as that guy. And while you'll certainly have your favorites. Of the three characters, Trevor's my favorite. But I still love the other characters. I still don't mind playing as the other characters. And they put that together insanely well in this. They made it feel like it's cool to play as any of these characters, and they've really made a game that's a total ensemble piece. Hell, there's a part early in the game where you play as a dog, where you switch to dog vision. You can be in dog vision when the dog is fucking another dog. Like, it's funny. It's really funny, and I don't want to go too spoilery into what happens. I will say that while I was playing it, I found it unpredictable. I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know if any minute now one of these guys is going to die. I felt like that throughout most of it. Like, sometimes it'll cut to an exterior shot of a house, and I don't know if the shot will end with the house blowing up out of nowhere. I'll get to the ending in a little bit, but I liked that about this. I liked that it was entirely unpredictable. Some elements of the story are relatively similar to certain things that go on in Red Dead, like how you have a very corrupt government organization that's kind of forcing them to do a lot of these things. Although, whereas John Marston was through and through a good guy, in this, you are playing as bad guys. You are playing as robbers and murderers and thieves. But in this, a lot of what they're doing is because of some corrupt agents. And in Red Dead, whereas in Red Dead, you kind of sort of knew how it was going to end. Like, you did. You pretty much, you didn't really know how, and you wanted to see how it got there, but you kind of figured it was going to end sort of like it did. In this, no, it's entirely unpredictable. Until like maybe the last couple levels, but I'll get to that in a bit. A lot of to get into some little things about it that are positive. The switching between channels on the radio in this is done well. You can hit a button to just flip through channels on the radio, or you can hold it down and a circle will come across and it has a listing of all the radio stations. It has a listing of all the radio stations, and not only that, when you come across them, it shows what song is playing. So you can flip through it quicker. It'll show like, okay, Bob Seger's Hollywood Nights is playing on this station. Tupac is on this station. That was really cool. And when it does that, when you hold it down and it goes into radio mode, it slows everything down to like uber slow motion. Like, it might as well be paused, but it technically isn't. And you can do that as it's kind of slowing things down a bit. You're not driving at 1,000 miles an hour, searching through like 80 radio stations. Now when you're just flipping through it, like bam, 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 like that, yeah, you're still driving at full speed. But when you hold it down and you're looking at all the channels and what's playing, then it slows it down. It even has like a driving equivalent of like Dead-Eye vision from Red Dead, where if you hold L3 and R3 down, it puts it if you're making a sharp turn, it puts it in super like Dead-Eye slow-mo, and you can make like really quick turns. Honestly, I'm so used to playing these games without that feature that really I only use that a few times in it. I used it a couple of times when you have to shoot at somebody in another car. Then I used it a couple of times, but I didn't use it a lot, but it was certainly a nice thing to be there, like, just in case. Driving is insanely better in this one than in 4. Driving is great. Driving feels like you're driving in one of the other better Grand Theft Auto games. It's fluid. You can take sharp turns easily. When you get flipped over, you can control it a lot more, how it's going to land when it flips over. There's not a lot of times where you'll get stuck on the top part of the car when it's completely flipped over. You can get it down onto its feet a lot better. Even driving big boat fucking cars in this are a lot easier to handle. I mean, in any of these games, there are going to be cars that are easier to handle than others, but whereas in 4, where it felt like every fucking car you had was one of the big boat cars from another game that are just impossible to fucking turn and shit, in this, no. Like, yeah, there are certainly cars that are easier to handle, but even the ones that aren't, you can get by just fine driving them. Weapons selection is kind of done like the radio is. You hold down L2, or not L2, L1, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm getting some of these wrong, but and then it shows you your list. It's like Red Dead. You've seen this before. It's like how it is in Red Dead and like the other games. The checkpoint system is a godsend in this. The checkpoint system is amazing. There's no point in this game where you're driving for 10 minutes and then you have to talk to some people, and then you have to shoot a bunch of people, and then drive away, and then when you're driving away, if you die somehow, you have to do the whole thing over again. That does not happen in this game. Honestly, there's very few parts where you're even driving for about 10 minutes. They've set it up very nicely to where you don't have to drive terribly far to one of your locations. And really, I don't have a problem with a lot of that anyway. That's something that a lot of people have more problems with than I do. I really don't. Like, I don't mind driving across town in one of these games. Now, if you were to do that every level, yeah, that might get tiresome, but in like LA Noire, there were parts where you're driving all the way across town for what feels like quite a while. I don't mind that. I listen to the radio, I look at a bunch of shit going on out in the city. It doesn't bother me. So long as that when you die, you don't have to do the same exact thing all over again. And you don't in this. The checkpoint system is amazing. The checkpoint system in this is among the best that I've seen from a Rockstar game. It really is. Like, the checkpoint system in this is as great as the checkpoint system in 4 was bad. Like, they did a fantastic job in this. Now, to get to the ending here, and I'm not gonna spoil it. When it actually gets to the ending, and when you're in the last couple of levels, you do figure how that it's probably going to end how it does. But that's only when you get to like the last couple levels. It isn't really like you're thinking that throughout most of the game, where you're like, oh, it's going to end like this. But here's the thing: it has. I'm guessing anyway, it has 3 different endings, and correct me if I'm wrong here. At one point in the last act of the game, when you're playing as Franklin, 2 different organizations are coming up to you. One of them says that they want you to kill Michael DeSanto, another says that they want you to assassinate Trevor. Or they give you the third option, which is Death Wish, in which you kill none of them and you just go out guns a-fucking blazing, fighting for your goddamn life. I chose Death Wish because I love Michael DeSanto. I love Trevor. I don't want to kill them. I don't want to be the one who kills them. If they die in a cutscene, that's one thing, but like, I don't want to be the one who fucking kills them. So I chose Death Wish because I didn't want to see any of these characters die. I don't. So like, okay, we are gonna kill as many fuckers as we have and see if we can fucking get away with this shit. That's the mission that I went with. And I'm not gonna say how it ends, but it ends. It has a satisfying conclusion. It doesn't feel abrupt. It doesn't feel abrupt at all. Like, I like LA Noire a lot, but that was a very abrupt ending. And one thing that, actually kind of going back a little bit, one thing that this does better than LA Noire 2 is that in LA Noire, you do play as more than one character, but you're playing as dude through the first 3/4 of it, and then you switch to the insurance agent in the last act, which I like LA Noire a lot. I found it to be a very satisfying game. I was very pleased with that. But it was very weird for me that I've followed this character along throughout most of the game, and then suddenly at the end I'm playing as another character. And the other character was fine, but you've kind of been on this journey with this other character, and it feels weird that you're not playing as him in the last act of the game. This one's not like that. It does the ensemble incredibly well. It doesn't feel weird when you're playing as another character, because you're playing as all 3 of them throughout the whole game. And then the ending in LA Noire I found kind of abrupt. The ending in this I didn't at all. I thought it came to a very satisfying conclusion. And then you have 30-40 minutes of ending credits. But I didn't choose kill Michael or kill Trevor. If any of you guys out there did, feel free to, in the comments, talk a little bit about that, because those I didn't play as. I don't know if the conclusion is exactly the same if you choose Death Wish or not. I don't. I went with Death Wish. This is one of the funnest times I've had playing a game, and I'm gonna go down there and do the extra shit on there. Like, you can do stuff like, you can base jump in this one like you could in, you can do that in Ballad of Gay Tony. If you can do that in regular 4, I can't remember, but you can compete in triathlons, you can compete in boat races, you can do a bunch of stuff in this. I'm filming some of the movie late tonight, but until then, I'm gonna have some more fucking fun with this game. How long did it take for me to compete still? Like, I finished at about 10:30 last night. I finished at about 10:30 last night after playing it for a lot. Because I was filming yesterday morning and wrapped up filming around like 1 or 2 and then played until about 10:30 when I beat it. I sent to Jillian how long it took me to get through story mode. Hang on, it's in here somewhere. Sorry, I'm sure this is tremendously exciting. Okay, for me, in story, let's see, it added up to 26 hours, 40 minutes, and 46 seconds. So quicker than it took me to get through Red Dead. So, all right, I'll be back. I'll talk a little bit about if there's any negatives I have. I'll be back and talk a little bit about that. So see you in a bit. If I have any, I don't know, any negatives, I guess, to say about it, and I'm really only talking about this just for the sake of like a review. If I were to be talking at length about this game with somebody, with one of my friends, about how much I recommend it, it isn't like I would really get much into this, because I like talking when it's something I love this much. I love when I'm talking to like my buddies and stuff, like when they're over here at the house. I like talking about everything that I love about it, and if there's something that they don't, then then we talk about that too. And in this, this is all very minor. It's very minor. It's stuff that you can deal with. It's nothing horribly bad. Off the top of my head, like I found Michael's car to be kind of annoying. Like, it drove fine. It did not drive like it was like you're driving on a fucking slip and slide or anything like that. It drove fine. It's just that a lot of times when you let off the acceleration, I'm not a car guy, so I don't know what the words are here, but there's like little flames burst out of the back, like tailpipes. I'm not a car guy, I'm sorry. It just goes, just bright flame, just like that. And that got, look, I'm ADD as shit, so every time that happened, I kept being like, what? And just bright, I don't like, for medical reasons, I don't like bright flashes. So really it got to the point to where I was avoiding using Michael's car as much as possible. Which wasn't that hard to avoid, because there's always many fucking cars sitting there. He's always got an extra car in his garage. Like, sometimes I would be put in a situation where I'd have to use that car, but only very briefly. So, Michael's car I didn't really much care for. The soundtrack of the game is good. The soundtrack it has great moments, like when you're driving to a heist, and it's total Michael Mann, like, dressed in suits, like it looks like a scene straight out of Heat. Dressed in suits, they're wearing like motorcycle helmets. That stuff's fun, and it's great seeing these guys driving in a van towards the location when "Ooh Child" by the Five Stairsteps is playing. That was awesome. That was a great music cue. God damn, I love that fucking song. There's when Trevor's taking his girlfriend back and it's playing Chicago. Like, that stuff is fun. That stuff's done really well. Like in a lot of games like this, once you've been playing it for a few hours, you've pretty much, in my case anyway, you've pretty much heard most of what you're going to hear from the radio. Granted, there's only a few stations I listen to. I'm not a country guy, I'm not a hip-hop guy, so I really wasn't listening to those stations. If you're the type that can listen to any of those stations, you might be able to get through most of this game without hearing songs repeated a lot. Like, you're gonna hear songs repeated, but if you're listening to all these stations, it might not be a lot. Like, I listen to, whenever there's an 80s station, I listen to that. I listen to, like, the smooth station with, like, some 70s beats playing. Like, George McRae's on one of the stations. I listen to the talk radio station, because that stuff can be really funny. Hell, like, Danny McBride is on one of them. Pam Grier is the DJ on the easy listening station. So after a while, I usually ended up just turning the radio off, because, again, like, after some hours, you've already heard everything on there, and there's only so many times I can listen to, like, The Politics of Dancing, or I'm Free by George Michael, or by Wham, and what else, like Hollywood Nights by Seeger. There's only so many times I could listen to that in a small period of time, so it got to the point where I would just kind of shut the radio off. Although it is funny, given how this takes place in Los Santos, fictionalized Los Angeles. There's Los Santos, there's the Vinewood Hills, there's like one place called like Vespucci Valley. Sweet Ritz reference. But what's funny about that is like you are listening to the songs that just straight out reference Hollywood or Los Angeles, so it's kind of funny where it's like, well, I guess Los Angeles really does exist in this universe. There's two identical cities, Los Santos and Los Angeles. That's awesome. There's like, you see like Man's Chinese Theater, there's like the Walk of Fame and things like that. It's fun. It's fun. But yeah, after a while I just kind of shut the radio off because I'd already heard everything. One thing that took me some getting used to at the beginning of it is, in some other games where when you've killed somebody, either their red dot will just straight up disappear. Well, I mean, that always happens, but their red dot will like disappear, or like say in like 4 where their weapons will fly out of them and they'll be glowing. In this one, this took me a little bit of getting used to at first. When you shoot somebody and they've died, the screen goes black and white for like a split second. It doesn't really like flash black and white, it just kind of goes black and white for like a split second. The only reason that took me some getting used to at first is because I didn't know at first if that meant I was getting shot. I picked up on it relatively easy enough. Once I kept going in the first level, I was like, okay, that just means that I've killed who's ever there. Whenever you get shot, it shows like some blood on the sides of the screen. But whenever you kill somebody, yeah, it goes black and white for like a split second. I got used to it after a while. At first, I was I was a little confused. Like, am I getting shot right now? Holy shit! So there was that. Honestly, this next one is just me. Like, I hate. You know how, like, when you're playing, like, a lot of people have just different levels that they just don't like. Like, many people don't like any water level in any Mario game. Honestly, I'm kind of like that. The water levels are not my favorite. Even in, like, Sonic, water levels are just not people's favorite thing. For me, in a Grand Theft Auto game, it's whenever I have to fly a helicopter. I hate flying fucking helicopters in these. I do. And this is not a knock against the game at all. It's not a knock against how it's designed or anything like that. I just don't like doing it. The only time where I kind of thought it was pretty fun was like in Vice City, where you're planting bombs in a construction site and you have a bunch of construction workers chasing you with 2x4s. I mean, the mechanics of it were kind of a pain in the ass, but the image of all of these like Dennis Franz looking guys chasing this thing with a 2x4 and screaming at it and shooting at it was funny. And that made that level pretty funny. You can do some crazy flying shit in this. At one point you fly a biplane into a cargo plane, which is about to blow up, and then you jump and parachute out of it. That part was great. There's a part where you steal a mini submarine. That part's fun. But just flying helicopters, I hate landing them, I hate flying them, I hate turning the goddamn things. I just don't care, but actually this goes to a positive, because when you're planning your heists, it gives you 2 options. It always gives you plan A, plan B. It gives you the rundown of different specifics about them, a lot of what you're going to be doing, and you can pick your crew. You can pick what plan you want to go with. That was what was great about this game, because I always went for the option that did not involve a helicopter. There was one where I went with disguising myself as a janitor to mop the floor, which you do. You mop the floor a few times in this. Like, literally. There's dirt on the floor, you wring the mop out and do stuff like that. It was funny. But I went with mopping the floor over flying a helicopter. There are levels in this where you do have to fly a helicopter. There are. There's levels where that's mandatory. My God, there's one level where this took me quite a few tries. When you're riding a motorcycle and you have to hit a ramp and land on top of a train and then drive the motorcycle up to the engine of the train. That shit was great. It took me quite a few fucking times, but it was great. So, like, the helicopter thing, like, that's just me. That's just a personal preference with me. That's not, like, a knock against the game. Sometimes it can be a little slow when you're switching between characters. When you're in the middle of a gunfight, it switches between characters like that. When you yourself are switching between characters, it switches like that, and it shows you which character is in the most trouble. So you can, like, if the icon of Trevor starts buzzing, then you switch over to Trevor and you play as him for a little bit. If Michael starts buzzing, you switch over to him. It's quick like that. But when you're in regular, when you're just kind of driving down the street or you're walking down the street and you switch to another character, it sort of does, like, how it does it is fine. It's just a little slow at doing it. It switches almost to a satellite view of the city. It zooms out, switches over to another part of the city, zooms. Like, honestly, Crank did this. Crank did this, but Crank did it fast. In this, it does it kind of slow. It does doom, 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 switch, doom, doom, doom. Honestly, that's faster than I'm making it out to be. Sometimes when you're in kind of a hurry and it does that, you're kind of like, okay, come on. And in terms of sometimes where the red dots were marking the villains, the icons of a few of them are so small that I can't tell if the person is upstairs or if he's downstairs. Sometimes when they disappeared, I didn't know if the person ran away or if they were just hiding. But all of this is just really, really minor. Like, this is all like very, very minor stuff. It didn't really ruin any kind of gameplay for me. When you have a couple of times this happened, when you have a mission that's marked on the screen via, like, letter, like if it's T or S or whatever, sometimes you'll be as a character and you'll drive there, and then when you get there, it'll say you need to be Franklin to be here. And I kind of got used to that after a while. I kind of picked up as it went on, like, I only really got fooled by that a couple of times, and really it was probably my own damn fault for not paying enough attention. When the game goes on, you pretty much know what character you have to be to go to a certain part. Usually, like, the letter will be much bigger and brighter when that particular character has to be there. But there were a couple of times where that wasn't the case, where I legitimately thought that I could go to a certain place as my character, and then I couldn't. But again, that happened like twice. In a game that I played for like 26 hours. That happened like twice. And it's got 75 missions, I believe, like 75 it goes through. Really, that's about it. That's about all I can think of. I love how when your character gets shot and lives, he has the bullet holes in him throughout the rest of the level. I love that. And if any of this happened in 4, I apologize, because I did play 4, but I didn't like it that much, and I don't have as great of a memory of that as I do all of the other games. So if any of this happened in 4, I apologize, I just forgot. But most of it didn't. But if in 4, if you're standing there, like, talking to somebody and you straight up have a bullet hole in your chest, I don't remember that, and I'm sorry for not remembering that if that happened, but it does in this. You'll be talking to somebody and you'll have a bullet hole in your throat or in your chest or over your elbow will have, like, road rash on it and shit. It was be calmly talking to somebody with holes in your body. Like, it was awesome. In terms of glitches, and that only happened to me a couple of times. At one point, at one point Trevor hit somebody with a chair, but the person wasn't there, so it looked like he hit the invisible man with a chair. At one point, one character was supposed to be following along with you, and he wasn't there, but you could still hear his voice. There's a part where there was a part where I straight up had to restart the mission. There's a part where you're going to a Hollywood premiere party, a premiere event, and you're playing as Michael, and you go to buy a tuxedo. And I went in and bought a tuxedo, and I left, and you're supposed to meet your son and then get in a limo, but it just completely glitched out. Like, his son was just standing there. You couldn't talk to him. You couldn't get into the limo. It wasn't literally frozen, but you couldn't do anything. So I just had to restart that mission. It wasn't that big of a deal, Like it wasn't like I had to do like a shit ton of other stuff before I got to that point. It was really no big deal to just restart that mission. That was the only glitches that I found. But in a game like this, like that doesn't mean they're the only glitches in the game. Like when I played through Red Dead, like I never came across like what is it like hyena lady or donkey lady or that I saw the video of that, but I never found that when I was playing it. But there were a couple of Invisible Man moments in it, but that was it. That was it in terms of any glitches that I found while playing it on story mode. So that's my thoughts on Grand Theft Auto 5. I can't possibly recommend the game enough. This is highly, 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 highly goddamn recommended. It is worth every fucking penny you play. The plot is great. The musical score itself is fantastic. The musical score is wonderful. It totally fits. It feels like it's like you're playing a Michael Mann movie. I thought it was great. The map is excellent. Like you're in the city, you're out in the desert, you're in the snow. You're in like a graveyard, a snowy graveyard. I mean, it spans a lot of fucking distance, and not to where it feels like it's too much. It never felt like too much for me. I loved playing as these characters. I wanted to see how their story ended. I wanted to see where it went. I found it entirely unpredictable. I did not get bored at all in this. It's a game that when it ended, I was sad that it ended. But the beauteous thing is now I can go do extra shit, so I can keep playing it. I can do the side missions and stuff. So that's my thoughts here on Grand Theft Auto 5. I hope you pick it up. It is worth top fucking dollar. If I had actually paid $120 for this, it would have been worth the $120. They knocked this one right out of the fucking park. This is one of, if not their best game. I love it. Every second of this game. So I hope you liked this review. I hope you go and check it out. I'm going to be filming some stuff for the movie later on, so I'll have a vlog up on that at some point. So I'll see you guys later.